Clic, mort. Ça tue, ça blesse, ça flingue. Hey, hey, hey. Mort.
Hey folks, welcome back to this week's video where we are discussing the differences between a 3-wood or a wood and a hybrid. Now, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're so grateful you are back. We're here on the range and we're going to talk through these two clubs. When to play them, when you may want to add one to the bag, maybe when you need to take one out of the bag, and how you can play them effectively. So, first thing we're going to talk about is just kind of differences in the clubs. When we look at the difference, the hybrid is going to be replacing maybe a longer iron, whether it's a 4 hybrid, a 5 hybrid, or a 3 hybrid, replacing that 3, 4, or 5 iron. The shaft is going to be very similar in terms of length, but we tend to see more of a graphite shaft, which can be a little more forgiving for people. We do tend to see that the loft of the club is the same as an iron. But big difference here between a hybrid and an iron. The sole of the club is going to be a lot longer. The center of gravity is going to be pulled further back, and it's going to make it a lot more forgiving for someone to hit a hybrid than it would be for an iron. So if you're a golfer who struggles hitting longer irons, considering putting a hybrid in the bag instead of a longer iron could be a great move for you, because it's going to give you a lot more forgiveness and control. But also the consistency of being able to actually strike it well and then get a longer distance is only going to make that easier for you. So the game is hard enough as it is. Find a way to be able to use the tools that are available to you to then be able to play the game better. So you can see the difference here. The wood I've got here in my hand is a 3 wood, and the hybrid I've got here is a 4 hybrid. But you can see that the sole of the club is a lot different. There's obviously a longer kind of sole of the club here, and you can see that there's the center of gravity would be a lot further back again. Shorter sole of the club here. The shaft length is again very different, a lot longer with the wood I've got in my hand than the hybrid. The shaft is a little bit longer, but it's also stiffer as well. We see that the face is a little different, and obviously the angles or the loft on the club, this one can be adjusted, this one can't. It's kind of set. You can get some adjustable hybrids though now. So again, there's very big differences between the two. Shaft length, angles, from face, center of gravity is being changed, and obviously that makes it very different in terms of what club we would use for different shots. So talked about the hybrid first, and kind of where we would potentially play the hybrid. So if you're struggling with irons, have a look at a hybrid, it might be worth it. I'll talk about the 3 wood in a second. Going with the hybrid first, where we would play it, kind of how we would play it, and how we would set up. If I'm looking at approaching a green with a longer iron, maybe a 3 wood is kind of too much club, and I'm trying to take some off it is going to be too challenging. I'm not going to want to do that. This is where a hybrid could be in play. So how we swing for a hybrid would be very similar to how we would want to swing with a long iron. There should still be somewhat of a descending angle into the ball. So we are going to look to kind of catch the ball and then a little bit of turf. So it's a little bit of a descending blow, similar to kind of the longer irons. But the sole of the club is where the forgiveness comes in. Now, if you think of an iron, the head of the sole of the club is pretty shallow. It's not very long, but the hybrid is going to give us that forgiveness through the turf. So we are still looking at striking down on the ball. Not a lot, but enough. So we are looking to catch the ground. This is where a lot of people tend to make the mistake. They will try and hit their hybrids and get them in the air so they're swinging up again. But we have the sole of the club to help us, so we can strike down on it slightly, and that's going to help us hit through the turf, hit the ball first, and then obviously get that nice hit that we're looking for, but also the distance. So in terms of setup, I want you to think of kind of what we would want to do with an iron being the same thing with the hybrid. Now we're talking maybe kind of couple inches inside that left heel, so it's a little further forward, but it's still back enough that we can have that nice strong attack angle and then be able to compress the ball well and then come out. So we do want to feel like we're compressing the ball a little bit more here. So once we get set up, we've got that ball position is the first thing we're looking at. We do want to feel like we're coming down on the ball, so we should still be covering it. We're not trying to feel like we're kind of getting to impact line with the hips, but the torso is back. We still want to feel like we're covering the ball a little bit more here, okay? When I would use this shot, I said a second ago, if I don't feel confident attacking a green with a longer iron, I would potentially trade the club out for a hybrid in the bag. And if I don't have it available, obviously that's when I have to make an adjustment for my game. But if I've got my hybrid in my bag, I'm definitely going to be looking at, okay, this is a longer shot. I need some more height maybe. I need some more spin, a little bit more control. Hybrid's definitely going to be a look that I'm going to have, or a shot that I'm going to want to play to that flag or that green. So again, I'm just going to get set up. Ball position should be a couple of inches inside that left heel. Again, making sure that I'm able to attack the ball here. I'm going to catch at the ball first, a little bit of the ground, and then play the shot. So again, you can see I've been able to hit the ground. It was probably a little bit of a heavy contact, so a little bit behind the ball, not by much, but you can see I've taken a little bit of a divot. It's still relatively shallow, so it's not like a heavy divot where we might be hitting a wedge or kind of a shorter iron. So I'm still catching the ball, then the ground, a little bit of dirt, and then still be able to hit the shot that I want. Now, the big thing with hybrids that I love, if you're a player that struggles with long irons, is you have workability with a hybrid. And I think that's a huge key for people that they can then start to play around with. So again, ball first, catch some ground. That was a better strike, better ball flight. But again, you can see, caught the ball, then caught some turf. Not a lot, but enough just to kind of say like, hey, great descending attack angle, compress the ball well, and then obviously get through. So that would be your hybrid. When you would want to play it, how you can obviously set it up for. Let's move to the 3-wood. 3-wood is where a lot of people get wrong, in the sense of they think they're potentially still attacking the ball down with a descending attack angle. 3-wood's probably the range where we start to transition from a descending attack angle to ascending. We're in that range of kind of 0, kind of neutral attack angle, maybe 1 down is kind of where we're looking at with the 3-wood. If you're playing it off a tee, some people like to hit up on it. I'm always of the position where I like more of that compression, so I tend to be a little bit more negative myself, and I just feel like I can then kind of hit through the ball a little bit better. But with a 3-wood, this is where it differs to the hybrid. We want to feel like it's a little bit more of a sweeping kind of off the turf. I'm going to play this off the ground, and you're going to notice here, it's a lot different in terms of the ball contact and the ground contact. Again, like I say, it's more of a sweeping feel, but my positioning is going to be a little bit different as well. So this is where ball position comes into play. If I go ahead and get set up, I'm now going to play this maybe a ball inside my left heel, maybe a little bit back if I'm trying to play it lower into the wind, but again, I'm still trying to feel like I'm sweeping it. But from here, once I've got set up and I get to impact, I want to feel like I'm maybe just slightly behind it, okay? So my hips are going to be on the impact line, but maybe my torso is just a little bit over it or slightly back, trying not to feel like I'm digging into the ground. Again, it's got to feel like that sweeping motion, and there's not going to be a whole lot of turf contact this time. So if I go ahead and get set up, again, you're going to see that ball position just a little bit inside that left heel. Weight's a little bit different in terms of the pressure. I've got a little bit of a torso lean. Nice swing. Good shot. And again, you can see there's not a whole lot of turf contact. There's a little bit, but not a lot. It's got to feel more of a sweeping contact rather than a descending attack angle. So if I bring the camera in a moment, I'll show you the kind of divots we're seeing. It very much is just kind of ball sweeping the turf, grazing it, maybe another term you'd like to use, but whatever you feel, there's not going to be a whole lot of contact with the ground and the club's head. It's just going to kind of sweep the turf. So again, same thing, I'm going to get set up. Ball should be inside that left foot, maybe a ball inside. I can get my normal setup, make a smooth swing. And then we're good. So again, we can see very little ground contact. It's very much just a sweeping off the ground as opposed to the hybrid where we can still attack the angle a little bit more. And that's the differences between the woods and the hybrids. Now, like I said at the start, where you want to potentially put a hybrid in your bag is going to be depending on how comfortable you are with your longer irons, whether it's a 6, a 5 or a 4. I know some people play a 6 hybrid. Some people definitely don't play a 3 iron, so they could potentially have a 3 hybrid and a 4 hybrid in the bag. I think sometimes here when we don't necessarily have a lot of swing speed, this is where people will start to look at having hybrids in the bag because it gives them a lot more forgiveness. So definitely worth having a look at hybrids if you don't play them. I think at this point in the game where we are now, a lot of people are buying into them and converting to them. It definitely depends on your game. So if you need to, go and get fitted for these, because you want to make sure that they're kind of adjusted to you, but also the ability for you to be able to then play them in your game. So getting a fitting is only going to help. Just buying one off the rack, it might not be the right spec for you, and obviously it might not give you the best fit, and obviously that's going to affect your game. So have a look at getting fit for your hybrids, and obviously if you're playing woods, just make sure that we're checking the attack angles. We don't want to be digging on a hybrid, we want to be sweeping it off the ground, not catching a whole lot of dirt, ball first, and then obviously we're going to see that nice flight. So folks, that's this week's video. I hope you enjoyed that. If you're not playing hybrids, check them out. If you're struggling with your 3 wood, 5 wood, maybe 7 wood, make sure we're obviously sweeping the turf, check your ball position as well, and you're going to find that that's going to help you a whole lot more if you're struggling with those. Comment down below anything that you're struggling with in your game, and we'll bring you some more content soon. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all very soon in the 52-week blueprint.